Welcome back to episode number 4 with Uncle B and what Bobby calls me
Top G. In the wide angle camera again to make sure we get those guns in shot.
I'm taller than I am wide, and that's a good thing. So in this episode, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to unpack some questions that you had that you posed to Bobby on his Instagram profile. So looking forward to unpacking those. But what's first up?
So I've decided that we need to have a selfish reason to do these podcasts. And it's going to be borderline illegal what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. We want you guys to be addicted to this sit downs that we have. How do we do that? We do that by providing so much value on these shows, whether it's 45 minutes or an hour or 30 minutes, so much value that you actually get anxious. When is the next one going to be coming out? Which is probably going to be bi-weekly for now until further notice. But yeah, we want you to be fully addicted to the show.
If we get enough views, we could do it daily.
We can do it daily. You just need to share the show. So there's a cool podcast I follow. It's an American guy, and he says he doesn't charge the people to watch his content, his business content, it's strategy all the time. He says, don't be a hoe. Share the show. So he won't charge you money, but you must share the show. So we're stealing that, or I'm stealing it. Don't be a hoe.
I want to congratulate Mitmac Masterclass for reaching 1 million views. Well done.
Jeez,
well
my friend,
freaking done.
Thank you so much. But that...
Oh, not 1 million views, 1 million subscribers.
1 million subs, yeah. That we actually...
1 million views was on one video.
We actually got the link today because it takes a couple of days for the golden plug. So we're going to just fill it out and make sure it comes to the correct address. But huge team effort. This studio has seen countless hours of very, very hard work by many individuals to achieve that. So let's get into it. Let's get you addicted. Hopefully we are very good drug dealers today, and we deal in value, over-delivering value. I'm going to start with a question that's been very challenging for me. So this is a question that I'm going to pose to you, sir. And it is about managing people for success. But I want to pose it, I want to frame it in a way that it hits close to center for everybody. So framing it in a way that I am a lower earner or starting off. So either I haven't yet developed skills to grow my income, no matter what age that is, or I just entered into the workspace. How do you manage me for success? And what if I'm already a type of a senior person and perhaps leading a couple of team members underneath me or next to me? How do you manage that person for success? Because we tend to make a mistake and want to beat everybody. So more stick, less carrot. But in the context of a balance, how do you achieve that? And how have you done it so well in your career?
So I think, first of all, I like to frame things in terms of structure. So I like to put structure to things. Okay. So I see this in a three-dimensional way. So if you imagine 1 dimension, 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions.
Okay.
Okay. The first dimension is skill. So start off your career, you've got very little skill.
Yeah.
Very high skill. You've got low income, high income. Okay. And then the third dimension is commoditized job and non-commoditized job. Okay. So and you can be anywhere in that 3-dimensional space at any time as an employee.
Agree.
Okay. You can be low skill, high skill, low income, high income, a commoditized, non-commoditized job, okay, or requirement. And all that is driven by economic conditions. So for instance, a software engineer today is a non-commoditized job. It's a non-commoditized skill. It's very sought after.
Yeah.
So therefore what happens is you get paid a lot for very little skill.
Yes, agree. Okay, got you.
Okay, so you could enter the market with not so much skill and you get paid disproportionately more.
I understand.
Okay, And the different people in that different environment have to be managed differently.
Yes.
A commoditized skill is perhaps, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the people, the baristas that make coffee,
Yeah.
but it's a commoditized skill.
Yeah.
There's lots of those skills around. So therefore, when you enter as a barista, you get paid the lowest of low.
Okay.
Okay, it's just supply and demand. So
Okay.
lots of supply, lots of demand, but there's an oversupply versus demand for, let's say, a barista or for somebody that can make coffee. And and depending on where you are in that three-dimensional world, as a leader, you have to manage those people differently and incentivize them differently.
Yes.
And for me, there's two approaches. There's the stick and there's the carrot. It's very, very simple, actually. There's either you manage them by KPIs and performance, which is the stick bit. If you don't do X, Y, Z, you get penalized. Okay, HR systems, all that stuff. Then there's the carrot. Now, for me, the carrot is where the person's job doesn't have a predictable outcome.
So no predictable outcome means they are left to use a creative part of a certain process, and there's little SOP.
Yes, like a barista, for instance. It's a very clearly defined process there.
Lots of SOPs. First, then,
Yes.
boom.
Boom, 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 boom. And you make coffee, and then the coffee comes out and it's in the cup.
Yes.
Okay. Different companies can make coffee in different ways, but it's still a process. You know the inputs and you know the outputs, and you can measure them.
Okay.
Those sorts of skills are not best managed by incentives.
That's a stick. That's a stick
It's
management.
more, if you don't achieve these things, there are penalties. Okay. Where you don't know the outcome, so you've got a set of inputs and you can't predict the outcome. Those skills or those types of humans or individuals are best managed with incentives.
Got you.
Because you want the best possible outcome, but you don't know what that outcome is.
Got you. So almost this environment is a there is almost no SOP in terms of the creative. So the outcome will depend on the input from Elsie and the team, for example. The input meaning there isn't a 3 seconds, then a cut, then 5 seconds, then a cut, then 12 seconds, then a cut, where if she goes and thinks about, we're sitting in front of 3 cameras at the moment, 2 mics, 3 cameras, she can always cut to a wide angle, only showing me, only showing you. So the more time she spends on it and the better it ends up looking, the more views we get, the more we get our message across. Whereas the way that the cameras are set up is SOP. It has to be focused. The mics must work. And the person that set up the studio, had it not been Elsie, then that person you drive more with a stick approach or a if this, then that.
Yes.
And Elsie you drive with performance-based.
Yes. So the more latitude the person has in the creativity of the input, the more incentives work.
Got you. Now, my question is going to be followed up.
It's like a salesperson in a dealership.
Yeah.
There's lots of scope for different ways in order to reach the sale.
Yeah.
That person is best managed through commission.
Yeah.
Most of their salary is likely commission.
Yeah. And on that, because I can give input there, we manage with a stick as well. Most salespeople earn a basic salary. The basic salary is the requirement for you to show up and do a certain amount of SOP.
But everybody's got a stick, right?
Yeah.
Pitch up for work and do your job.
Yeah, but where the magic happens is once you get a lead. So the SOP part is you have to answer the lead within a certain time, and then there has to be an action and an
That's
action
measurable.
Measurable.
Yes.
But where the magic happens is what sort of communication, what tonality, what scripting are you using on that customer once you found that customer, and that we incentivize by commission, the more you can get that closer to perfect each and every time. The more you smile on the phone, the more you lead the customer into questioning to find out what the actual need is, so that you can serve that purpose. That's incentivized by commission.
So I must take my hat off to you, because what you've done is very, very difficult. All right. You've created an SOP that you know works, right? And strictly speaking, that shouldn't be incentivized. It'd be like, you hit this or you don't. Okay. You've incentivized your own SOP, which is very creative.
Yeah.
And I think incentivizing your own SOP will get you the best of the best.
Yeah. So
because the person knows what the procedure is.
Yeah.
All they need to do is perfect it.
Yeah.
And they earn a commission on top of that.
Yeah.
That's the best environment to be in.
Yeah.
Because I can pitch up at my job. I have to input very little of my own creativity. All I need to use is Bobby's system.
Yeah.
And I can achieve success. As opposed to perhaps in another dealership is like, pitch up, make sure that you have sales skills and sell bloody cars.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to lay another very important lay on top of that is, I came up with it yesterday. So every single morning I spend between 30 and 45 minutes training on a weakness. So training on a weakness will be, I need to speak to my wife. It's an objection that pops up the whole time. I want my sales force, when you wake them up 2 o'clock in the morning, you shake him in his bed and you say, hey, I need to speak to my wife. They need to automatically have the psychology down to the T, so that they actually understand what that objection is about and find out, is it a price, is it a product, or is it actually someone that needs to speak to their wife? Now, how do I incentivize them growing that twice? And I'm gonna share it, because I know it will work for us, so hopefully it works for someone else. So before you enter the training room in the morning, I'm going to require you to have a ticket. So you need a ticket to enter the training room. Otherwise, you're not allowed in. So what is the ticket? Where do I buy one? Well, you simply have a customer review screenshot on your phone, even if you didn't deliver a car, even if you helped the customer and that customer said, you know what, I changed my mind. My ancestors called me last night and I don't want to buy a car anymore. But your service was great. That's your ticket to enter, because we also invest hundreds of thousands of rands on online courses, overseas courses.
Yeah.
And how do I get positive ROI twice? So first time, it's selfish, because the more I upskill a salesperson, the more money I make. That's just a selfish, and I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because the more
capitalism.
The more money that I make, the more money the salespeople make. We're taking care of their family, extended family, community, etc. So I'm upskilling him, and I'm demanding him to upskill himself on his own through feedback. And that's how you enter the training room in the morning. Give me a review. If you had a 1-star review, amazing. So it's not you have to have a 5-star review to enter. You have to have a review.
Yeah.
So 1-star review will say, you sold me the car. So typical. You sold me the car. You promised me a spare key, and now there's no spare key. Bad service. So now let's go back and learn. Did we promise a spare key? Salespeople out there, you know who you are. You will say and do anything for a sale and commit to it. Spare key, we've got. Did you check on the system, brother? I'm sure we had a spare key. So now,
because it's in the moment. Yes, I'll get you a spare key.
I'll get you a spare key, because I can do the deal and earn the commission. And some spare keys today cost in the excess of 8,000 Rand for a key. Yesterday we sold a 7 Series BMW with one of these fancy remotes. You can switch on the aircon and stuff. It's 25,000 Rand. The guy drove 4 hours to the dealership. He knows what the key costs. He asked if we have the key. Yes. Can you send me a photo? Because if the screen is cracked, it's money. So spare key, for example, if you got a 1-star review, no problem. Where did we fail? Well, if we failed as a company and noted that there's a spare key, but now we can't find it because someone shoved it somewhere, then the company needs to take the stick. I apologize to the consumer, ask him to re-rate us after the spare key situation has been resolved, send him screenshots and proof why we said that. But if you lied to get a commission, well, then we're going to visit HR, and that's part of your SOP. That's why you get a basic salary,
Yes.
because you have to check certain things before you say yes, no, maybe.
There are minimum requirements.
And then we're going to have an IOU on your name. Is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Awesome. Now, how do you take the entry-level person with a low income, low skill set and manage that person for success? Because obviously low skill set means high skill set for me.
So low skills requirement job,
Yeah,
or low skill set in the individual, or both?
both.
Okay, so a person that needs to make coffee and he's green.
For me, a low skill set person is someone that doesn't understand sequencing.
Well, they're green to the world, right?
Yeah.
They haven't learnt enough, or they've been in the wrong environments.
And hopefully they end up in a situation where the leader actually wants to upskill them and wants to pour into them. But how do you do that? How do you take the person that comes in as a barista and identify him first of all? Because not everybody can be
Store manager.
Yeah, store manager, but some can.
Yeah.
Some can. How do you look for, so this is a skill set that potentially the people watching have, but aren't seen, or they don't have, that's why they're not seen. How do you identify that person and say, this person says the right things, does the right things, so I will be able to pour more into him and get him to upskill as well as increase income? How do you do
So
that?
I think there's three things. Let's use a cleaner as an example.
Let's use a cleaner.
Let's use a
Perfect
cleaner.
example.
Perfect example.
Low
Cleaner,
skill, low income.
Low skill, low income, right? Person enters your business, is a cleaner, he has an SOP, or she has an SOP.
Yeah.
Okay. They have to clean a particular area to a certain standard using a process.
Yes.
Okay, SOP. The first thing is the base level is twofold. One is time. Okay, the youngsters of today entering businesses want instant gratification, right? Doesn't happen.
Want a Lambo.
Yes.
Yesterday.
I want to work for 6 months and I want all these things. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time. And it's a long time.
Yeah.
And it's a hard time.
Difficult
It's
time.
difficult. All right? Unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, which I wasn't. Neither were you.
No.
The second is the person needs to operate above that SOP for that extended period of time.
For an extended period. That's very important.
Yes.
Not for a moment, because
Yeah.
everybody can operate above their pay grade for
For
2 weeks.
Yes.
But not for 20 years.
An extended period of time. That could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be always, and you never get noticed.
Yes.
Okay, it could be always. It just depends on your environment, right? Then the third thing is every business, unless you work for a non-profit organization, even a non-profit organization will think like this, to be honest. But unless you work for someone or an organization that doesn't care about how much money they spend, is how do you add more value to the bottom line of that business? Okay. So in a cleaner example is you've now done your SOP, but you've outperformed your SOP for an extended period of time, right? And you start to identify flaws in the SOP and the system that you're working within. For instance, you know what? These chemicals we're buying, everybody's got access to Google.
Yeah, everyone does. Yeah.
I wonder what this costs. Go to the purchasing manager. What are we paying for this 5-liter ammonia?
Yeah.
36 Rand. do some calculations, be able to do maths. You know what? I think we don't need to use this product. There's a cheaper version. Does the same thing.
Can we please test?
Can we test it?
Jeez.
Can save you some money. Might be $50, but it shows the mindset, and then that can extend to other things. Like, no, this mop is really low quality. We're buying 5 of them in a month. I think we should buy a better quality mop. Will ultimately cost us less because over an annual period, we're buying 60 mops. We might be able to get away with buying 10.
Got you. So bringing that type of information, financial information, to the person that you're directly reporting to.
Exactly. Now, most people, when they work for a company, they have an employee mindset, right? Mm-hmm. And an employee mindset is, I don't spend this money as if it's mine.
Big problem.
Big problem. If you really want to grow in a business, you spend the company's money as if it's your own.
Yeah.
Would you spend that over here?
Yeah.
Or would you look for a different way?
Beautiful. That's amazing. What if, by the way, like the last 5 minutes, watch it again. It doesn't matter at what level you are. I'm really thrown off, but I am at the moment. But let me reset. How do you take a manager? So for me, a manager does this. Els, on me, please. Not the big guns, just the smaller guns. So a manager does this. Looking down, managing the process. So if I'm managing the cleaner or a team of cleaners, I'm looking at perhaps a roster. I'm looking at chemical depletion, and I'm making sure that whoever needs to work in this area gets there by 10:15 and is done by 10:45, whatever the time frame is. How do you go to that manager and help him become a leader? So how do you get him to look up a little bit and see around the corner almost, or sequence a little bit better? It could be in that environment or in any environment in a business. How do you get that person identified? What are you looking for there? And how do you motivate them to grow in skill set? Because management is a skill set, leadership is also a skill set. But the two different incomes are incomparable. If you lead, you can earn a lot more money than if you manage. But sometimes you can't do both. I guess my question is, with a higher income, higher skill set person, how do you identify him and take him even higher up?
So the difference between a leader and a manager is systems and process.
Okay.
That's the fundamental difference, besides the way you treat people, because that's the other dimension, right? But initially, if a manager's sitting managing things and not systems, okay? If you're managing things and not systems, you're not a leader.
Okay. You're a manager.
You're a manager.
You're not a
managing
leader.
Stuff. A leader manages a system that takes care of itself. So, for instance, in the cleaning example, right, a manager would be, come, let's take the stock sheet. Let's go count the amount of chemicals we have, right? That's managing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. A leader will have an automated system that will manage it on its own.
And give him a report or her a report.
And you'll be able to see through that system
the
flaws and where the challenges are. Gives you the latitude to walk around and lead people as opposed to managing stuff. And for me, that's the difference. If a manager doesn't make that leap to becoming a leader by setting up systems and perhaps empowering other people to manage the stuff that they were managing, because then that elevates their people as well, they will never become a leader.
I just got addicted to the show. by the way. So if you guys didn't, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I really value that. If you are managing stuff and not systems, and create an environment where the system takes care of the stuff, and you walk around and you uplift and motivate and find out the whys of each and every person, then you're a manager, you're not a leader, and eventually you hit a plateau and you won't grow.
Yes. So managers typically don't progress to leaders because of one fear.
Tell us, please.
If I don't maintain control, I will lose my job.
If I don't maintain control, I will lose my job.
It's a control problem. So they're scared of letting go, managing the stuff, because they think so typically, like a white collar worker that works behind a desk,
Yeah.
you will find that they hoard information.
Okay.
And their hoarding of information is a fear. It's all fear-based. Is they don't want to create systems that manage the information and distribute it around the company, because they're scared that if they let go of the control of that information, they'll become irrelevant.
So, Anna-Marie, who you know very, very well, when we started working together, it's almost 9 years ago. It's 8 years ago. The first thing that she did, because I qualified as a finance and insurance.
You did?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. 90. My test I wrote, I got 98%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. Thank you. I had no choice because we didn't have an F&I. So all these regulations came in and I couldn't be a cowboy anymore. And I said, shit, I have to now take this cowboy and go and try and domesticate him a little bit and let him understand how
To play by the rules.
How to play by the rules. I couldn't almost talk my way out of regulation anymore, because they come and they said, Bobs, this is coming. You've got 6 months. I'm like, 6 months is a lifetime, bro. 6 months, I'll be old by then. And then 2-3 months before the cutoff, I'm like, shit, I need to get my ass in gear. But anyway, when we started having conversations, I said to her, what do you do different? Well, I have a couple of F&Is that run this type of service for other dealerships. And all I do is I just check the DOC. DOC. She says, yeah, that's all I do. So you don't sign customers.
That's a leader.
No. I said, okay. You don't speak to customers. I do sometimes if there's an issue, or maybe sometimes there's an inconsistency. So what do? I manage the DOC with the team. I'm like, you don't sign customers.
What's a DOC?
DOC is the I don't know what the acronym stands for, but it's the system with all the approved, declined, validated, failed validation.
Okay.
It's a live sheet.
Okay.
It's a big Excel live sheet that she's created.
It's a system.
It's a system. So I said, okay, so your income is here and you don't do much.
But that's a leader.
Then I'm like, shit, I need you to come start right now. And she did, and she created F&I of the year back to back from her. Essentially, it was a PA and or her assistant. His name is Charles Lane. And I said to him, he needs to win F&I of the year 3 times before I change his name on my phone, because it still says Anna-Marie Assistant. So 3 times validates that he's such a champion. I will change his name to an agreed name that me and him have. But on your point, she just manages the DOC. She identifies a problem, lets the person know what the problem is, and then just double checks that the problem is fixed.
However, the license to do that is you must know everything there is to know about the stuff.
Yes.
Okay. You can't come here as a 22-year-old
and be a leader.
Because you know shit about the stuff.
And on your point, she's been an F&I for 20 years.
Exactly.
So there's virtually very little there's very little that can come into the business that's a first time. For example, we had a first time with a bank last week. I'll protect their reputation and I won't say who they are, but it was a first time for me and Anna Marie. I've been doing this my entire life, and we had to sit with red face and egg on our head, and I made the call. I said to her, listen, I lead, I make the call, I take the rap, and I get beaten. Customer comes in, gets approved, gets validated. Validated means everything is checked out. We've made sure that you are who you say you are. We've matched your identity document to Home Affairs. We've recorded your number. Everything matches. It is you, and we can prove income.
Yeah.
So your payslip has been matched to your bank statement, and we found your work, and we've gotten telephone confirmation, which is recorded by the bank, as well as an email. Validated.
Yeah.
I found the customer. Mr. Customer, what's up? I told you, I'm Uncle B. I got your back for life, brother. You have been pre-approved and validated. Just sleep early tonight, because tomorrow we party like there's no tomorrow. The guy's excited. I've got the Hennessy bottle there. We're going to have a jaw. Next morning, declined.
Yo.
After validations.
Why?
So it's the first time I phoned. I said, Anna Marie, I can't handle this shit. I've given my name to this customer. He's expecting his car, and now I have to phone him and tell him that he's declined. The salesperson is hysterical. The manager is fluking me. So it's a newer bank, and they just decided, sorry, ITC updated overnight. We are going to go with the new information that we have from ITC and not honor our approval. Nothing we can do. In this particular situation, we had the luck of doing an application on his wife's name, who got approved, validated, and we signed. So he still got his car, but that was a first. And I haven't had a first with Anna Marie in probably 4 years, because everything else she knows.
Well, that's a leader, because she's sitting in a role where she is not scared to distribute information.
And then manage to a very high standard on the
Yes,
information that
exactly.
she's given.
Yes.
So there's still KPIs. There's still Charles, poor guy. He gets daily beatings from her, which beatings in a good way. I've done this, yeah, but there's still room for improvement.
Yeah.
There's still
Yeah.
room for growth. There's still room for more.
Yeah.
That's a message that she pushes. I like it. Thank you. That was very, very powerful. Thank you. If you guys aren't addicted yet, then, man, we're selling you the wrong drugs. I have,
Then you're into something stronger.
yeah. No, whatever you're into is illegal, because this stuff is just posted normally on YouTube. I really like this one. So it comes from the real Ferdinand Alistair. That's what your handle is on Instagram. What key questions should I be asking myself to achieve self-mastery? So to bring a little bit of context, we were chatting about certain KPIs and certain targets that we set ourselves and that we push for to achieve. What are you asking yourself at this stage of your career when you've dominated everything in your space, but yet you continue improving? How is that conversation going in your mind?
It's always my fault.
It's always my fault.
It's always my fault.
If you're doing well, it's your fault. If you're
Yes.
doing poorly, it's your fault.
Yes. It's always my fault. What have I done to cause that situation, or to help cause that situation? Yes, there's some things in life that are uncontrollable. Can't change a traffic light.
Yeah, can't.
That's just, some things are uncontrollable. But 90% of what happens to us in life is about our reaction.
Our reaction.
Yes. To the 10% that we can't control.
More drugs.
So
Else?
if you approach a red traffic light, right, you got to react to that traffic light. That decision of what happens to you if you make the wrong or to choose the wrong reaction could be life-threatening.
Agree.
So 10% of the world is uncontrollable. But the 90% of your life is controllable based on your reaction to the 10%. The principle is not mine. The principle is Stephen Covey's.
Okay.
So if you want to go and Google what I'm talking about, it's called the 90-10 principle.
10% is uncontrollable. 90% is your reaction to that. And based off of your reaction, there's different outcomes.
There's infinite outcomes. So everything in your life is based on your reaction to whatever you're facing. And you've got to ask yourself, what did I do? How did I react? What decisions did I take that led me down this path to get to this point now? Okay, so how do I begin to react differently to get a different outcome? Because if you're going to continue to react to the 10% in the same way, guess what? You're going to have the same outcome all the time. The rest of your life is going to be going down. And if it's a good path, carry on. But your life's going to continue to go down that path.
Sure. I want to add something to that. So I'm looking at the question and something comes to me. Yesterday's success is not today's success.
Explain.
So in sales, for example, I was on such a high yesterday. We committed to 15 deals. We executed on 12. But it was 12 of the coolest deals I've ever done. Ever, back to back to back to back to back. We were so blessed on the first of the month. God sent us all these amazing customers with individual stories. We had nice trade-ins. Normally I have to deal with some hojos that people trade in, and then I have to offset them, and it's always a battle. We had nice trade-ins. We had smooth sailing. There was no approved decline situations. But this morning I woke up and I said at 4 a.m., yesterday was such a kick-ass day. It's got nothing to do with today because we're starting on zero. So how do I generate, and it's on what you're saying, going down a path which will either be good, bad, or ugly, how do I generate enough momentum to make this day even better than yesterday? What actions do I need to take? What did I learn yesterday? How can I pivot and adjust to be able to deploy today so that we can grow on the success that we created for the first of the month?
Pragmatic stoicism.
The ability to bear pain, as Uncle Hannes always says.
So on your good days, temper the excitement.
Temper it means
dial it down.
Dial it down.
Okay. Because if you don't temper the excitement, I'm not saying don't celebrate it, right? But temper the emotion. Because the more you feel that excitement, the further you are away from the low.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay. And us as human beings experience differentials. We don't experience the moment. We experience something in relation to something else. So you will experience today in relation to yesterday. Okay. And if today is just a slight low, but yesterday was a flipping epic high, you'll feel like today is a disaster.
That's so good. Yeah, another hit. That's so freaking good.
So I'd say pragmatic stoicism. Temper the highs so that you can deal with the lows. Because then the fluctuation is not so great. You'll have a constant heartbeat. I'm not saying don't celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate. But temper it.
Beautiful. Just something that I'm going through right now. Our best guy. Best guy in terms of sales. Eddie. Everyone knows who he is. He comes to work with Louis Vuitton shoes and an M4. He's an absolute G. Walks in, just gives everyone shit, and then as soon as he sees someone is struggling, he'll call him. Say, come sit here.
Yeah.
What are you struggling with? This customer, this situation, I don't know what to do. Well, have you tried this? And then the guy fist bumps and runs off. So he's going through stuff like we all do, personal, emotional stuff. So that immediately, I think high performers are very emotional, and they've got high highs, like in our industry, what I've seen from my own experience. Very, very good concept of dialing it down, and I'm gonna first study it in my mind and hopefully teach it to the rest of the company. But he's either here or here. And the conversation I had with him is, as much as this is not real, because you can't
maintain it.
You can't be. It's not real, and it's not real because of the 10%. We can't control rates. We can't control, for example, the weather. We can't control the red light or the yellow light or the green light. Somebody that makes a decision to skip, but we can control the reaction. So even though 35 cars a month and that type of income is not real, when you have a poor month, when you have your worst month in the year, that's also not real.
Exactly.
So I've battled with him through this process for the last 2 weeks, where only now do I see, because he's felt the pain for such a long time, he's sort of letting go of the pain and he's normalizing it again. And even Anna-Marie said to me yesterday, what did you do to him? I said, what do you mean? Well, he gave me X amount of apps today. He hasn't given me this much apps in a long time. What did you do to him? I said, well, I've done nothing to him. Hopefully we've processed the issue, but that's a skill set that he needs to learn, and I need to learn as well, to be able to dial it down. Because if you're having a low, you can also dial down the low feeling and not feel so low. Man, we are definitely addicting these people to drugs. Do we have time? How are we for time?
We're good for time. Eh? We
have
can
time
go for another
one more?
15 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more. Can we go sales?
We can do anything we want.
So, Mornay.official. Official Mornay. It looks like a youngster, very young guy. How do you deal with a client asking for discount? And when a client asks for more after you already gave him discount. So as I have battled many times with your team.
I've battled with this in Auto Trader as well. Because when years back, when I was still green in this role, the dealer customer base discount was
the middle name.
It was an Auto Trader person walked into a dealership and the first discussion was price.
Not value, product. What can we help you with?
Doesn't happen anymore.
Doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Okay. How do we answer this young man? Why does it not happen anymore?
So I think the first thing, so you're either one of two companies, right? Okay, or you either sell one of two services or product, and you can't be both. It's impossible to be both. So Mr. Mornay official,
yeah.
Okay, you can't do both, right? So you're either a low-cost product or service, or you're a high-value product or service. But you can't be both.
Good.
Okay. So you've got to decide which one you are. If you're a low-cost product or service, so the definition of that is not cheap.
No, low cost is not cheap. Yes.
Low cost is, I want to be the cheapest price amongst all other products.
Okay.
I want to be the lowest cost to the customer. That's why I use the word cost and not price. Okay. I want to be the lowest cost to the customer. Doesn't mean your product's crap. So if I want to be the lowest cost to the customer, in that world, price discounting doesn't even come into the picture because you've made a strategic decision to be the lowest cost.
So the discussion can't be opened. You are already
Yes.
the lowest. Not comparing to everyone else.
Yes.
Got you.
So discount discussions, discount is where the customer doesn't know where you're positioned, right? So if you're positioned here in low cost,
The customer doesn't know
where
you're
you're positioned.
And that's your fault.
and that's your fault, yes. Okay.
Got you.
So if you're low cost, the customer needs to know that you're positioned as the lowest cost, and then they won't even have the price discount discussion with you because they'll be able to see, and you've told them we are the lowest cost.
Got you.
Okay. And they'll be able to evidence that. There's no point in having a price discussion when you're paying the lowest price, right? In a high value product or service, right? So the iPhone is an example.
Yes.
Okay. Again, if you are delivering value and you're articulating that to the customer, price discounting won't come into the discussion because you've identified to the customer what you are. I'm high value. This is a premium product.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. And if you want to pay less, go to the low cost guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, Mr. Mornay official, that the reason you're getting these questions is because I don't want to disrespect the product you're selling because I don't know what it is, but chances are your customer doesn't know where you're positioned.
Beautiful. So if the value exceeds the price, the customer buys.
Yes.
If the value does not exceed the price, the customer needs to squeeze the price down to the point where the value exceeds the price at whatever point that is, and then they justify, okay, this is worth this much. But the problem is, and many salespeople and companies leave that decision up to the customer.
Yes.
Because they don't articulate what they stand for. So when I'm selling a customer, the first thing that I need to establish is what's important to them. So one objection that we get daily is I want discount. I'm like, great. Everyone does. Is quality, reliability, and peace of mind important to you?
So where are you starting to position your business? On the value side.
At the value side, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to make sure, because once I explain to them how we get to quality, reliability, and peace of mind through our processes, which they might have missed because maybe the couple of messages and videos and stuff that we've sent them, they didn't open yet because everyone's busy. But once they establish that this is how we provide value through quality, reliability, and peace of mind, and the systems and the processes to back that up, I ask them, is quality, reliability, and peace of mind important to you and your family, or is it only price? Just to make sure where in the two sides the customer falls. Now, they always fall on this side. And with used cars, with a used product like our industry, it's very easy to do that if you can back it up. But you need to back it up. And the backing it up is the hard part. But once we know that this is where you are, the conversation is shut down. But if I or a company fails to explain this, or it's not there, then you have to give discount. You don't have a choice because you have failed to be the cheapest if the consumer still asks for discount and you haven't justified what value proposition you have so they can, in their mind, see, okay, now it's enough. I can pay this because this is what I'm getting.
So you've effectively positioned the company in the high value product or service, whether it's a used car or not.
Correct.
Your business gives disproportionate value to the price.
100%.
Whereas the low cost company charges a low price, still delivers value, but at that price point.
And this is on our opening topic. Skill set versus income. The higher your skill set becomes and our industry is very loose in that sense. It's not a black and white industry. Loose in the sense of it's not a SaaS product. It's not a digital solution that you can click deploy in your business.
Yeah.
We still have to use our skill set to develop that rapport and build the value. The higher the skill set there, it just your skill set just pulls your income up. Because you are able to better articulate where you are in the spectrum. In the spectrum, yeah.
Exactly. So how do you how do you convince an employee or a customer, for that matter, to change?
I think an employee is slightly different to a customer. I'll maybe handle the employee first. A newbie coming in.
Because so let me qualify my question. So in an employee, you want them to change to help them to grow.
Yes.
Right? In a customer, you want them to change from someone else's product or service to yours.
Yeah. So with an employee, it's actually easy with both. It's very easy. With an employee, you have to show that employee, because you can't tell him, you have to show him that this person, Eddie, that comes to work with LV shoes and an M4 and is young, does these things in sequence, repetitively, almost religiously, to get this outcome.
Uh-huh.
Now, as much as step 1 is very similar to step 2, is also similar to step 3. If you skip step 2, you're at a disadvantage at the end on the closing call. So if you watch him, don't listen to him, just watch what he does and follow his steps that he takes when he's communicating with the customer. Doing step 1 when you should, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then close equals this outcome.
Okay.
Then I'm not telling them, if you follow my recipe, you will become wealthy or financially independent or in a much better position than you currently are. I'm saying this person, the top person, uses this recipe the most effective way that I've ever seen someone use it. So he doesn't skip steps. He follows through. He takes his time. Number 2 also uses the recipe, but it's not as effective as number 1. So if you watch him bake this cake, he makes a beautiful cake at predictable speeds all the time. Then you get to decide, do I want to be there? Because that takes a lot of effort. Or am I comfortable being number 2 or 3? And then the softer skill comes in, which I think I've got quite a bit of, is to pin people up against each other. Man, I love doing that. So the guy that did 3 cars in one day yesterday, I made a little skit with Conor McGregor walking into a ring with his shades and take money of 50 Cent song. So I'll do that, and I'll bring him into the training center in the morning. I said, you stand outside, boy. You did 3 cars. You special.
Yeah.
Everybody's in. Song on the TV. He comes in. Then this is what I do. He's about number 5 in the company, but he did 3 cars in one day. Gets a big bonus when you do that. I'm watching 2 people, 3 people. I'm watching Eddie. I'm not even looking at him. I know he's enjoying the moment, and I'm giving him that to build up his confidence. But my job as a leader, those 15 seconds, is to watch Eddie's body language. Does it piss him off to see him do that and not him? Which this morning, it literally infuriated him. He was angry. I'm like, that's a fucking lion. That's a competitor. The number 2 guy is number 2. I'm not going to mention his name, because he was clapping and he was cheering and he was genuinely happy for that person. There can only be a one number 1. It's 1% of the people are wired in a way where he fucking hates the fact that it's not him.
No 7th place trophy.
Yeah, number 2 and 3 are happy for the guy because he's experiencing a fun moment. Then I know how to drive him today. Eddie, listen, should we maybe ask Clayton to phone your customers because he's done 3 in 1 yesterday and he's on a roll? Or are you able to handle this man? The guy doesn't even sit at his desk. He's on the floor phoning. He's got 2 phones on him. It just fires him up. So that's how I do it with salespeople. And I think no matter where you are in the income and skill set, if you're in an environment when it comes to sales, this only works for sales. And it's that competitive and there's so much pushback. If you are wired for sales, you'll enjoy it. If you're not, you'll be miserable.
Yeah.
And you'll run the hell away from it.
You might be on the right bus, but in the wrong seat.
Yes. When it comes to a customer, I use a lot more finesse. So I need to find out if quality, reliability, and peace of mind is important to them. Sell them on each part. What that means in practical terms. So quality is we see 220 cars a day
Yeah.
nationally. We only realistically buy between 8 and 12. So that's 5% of the cars that we see we only buy.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because we have standards. We buy the cream of the crop,
You're a high value.
only the best. And the language is very soft. It's very soft. And I'm almost telling a story and leading the customer as a lawyer to get to the final question. The reliability, we've got processes. Our depot is 19,000 square meters. 3 individual managers check the car. 2 are internal, 1 is external. The internal, first person that checks the car, condition report, number plate to number plate. We go fine-tooth comb. The second person is independent. It's a full DECRA report that goes to the third person who does the PDI before we release the car to you. Each one has to find mistakes from the other one. So it means if DECRA fails our car, condition report has not done their job. They need to fail the car. Then there's a retest fee, which is smaller than the original roadworthy fee. But now we need to have a conversation. Why did we send the car to DECRA with brake pads that are 25%?
Yeah.
Because SOP says it needs to be above 60%.
Okay.
So we need to have that conversation. Do you understand, Mr. Customer? They're like, okay, so winning dealer of the year was very intentional. It wasn't by mistake. It was, we intended to do everything to the best of our abilities, and then goes to PDI, who now can also say, but DECRA put this car through, but this car's wipers, when I pick it up, the little black thing hangs out there.
Like about 72 years old.
Yeah, like the sun murdered this freaking window wiper. Then he'll send a photo on the group. It's like, guys, come on, just note it. And then that elevates him. Like, thank you, Carl, for really taking the time to make sure that this is to that standard. And then peace of mind is just 8,000 customers on Hello Peter have rated us, and we've started accumulating ratings on Auto Trader's
You've got a
website.
4 out of 5 star rating on all
4.1.
4.1. Okay, it's
You
gone
need
up
to-
since
sorry,
I checked.
sir, sorry.
I need to go check. 4.1
4.1
out of 5. Well done. Well done.
And climbing. So we're going to be the first dealer that gets 10 out of 5. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're still working
Well,
on
they
it.
are half stars.
Okay. So peace of mind is 8,000 people speak about our company this way. We do have 1 stars. We do sometimes fail. We are honorable. We try our level best to correct the mistakes that we have, but most importantly, to make sure that we don't make the same mistake twice. And sometimes we do, but that's very limited. So that's how we eliminate these things. So does it make sense to you what I'm saying? Is it processing? Do you have any questions on our process? No, I don't. Are you sure? No, I understand. It's a good way of looking at your business. So tell me, Mr. Customer, is quality, reliability, and peace of mind important to you and your family? Yes, it is. Or is it just price? No, it's important. Great. That's why we charge this for our car. And another dealership has it for 10,000 Rand cheaper. That's how I do it.
So everything you've said, I have a mental model for, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know me and my structure, right? And I've seen you do this in selling cars, and I've seen you do this in managing people or leading people, right? So if we want a human being to change, whether that be a customer or an employee, they're currently in a particular place, and you've described this that I'm about to kind of put in a model, and I've seen you do it. So if they're presently in a particular place, what most leaders do, or even salespeople do, is they try take the customer or try take the employee to what I call the positive future. They try paint all the nice.
Sell the dream.
They sell the dream.
Ooh, I can see where this is going.
That doesn't fucking work.
I can see where this is going.
Doesn't work,
yes.
right? If you're gonna, so you're a weak leader. If all you do all day
Is sell the dream.
is tell nice things to people, you're a weak leader. Okay, you've got to first, because people run towards pleasure
and run.
and run from pain. But you've said to me before,
Hard from
people run faster from pain
Fast. Close the eyes fast.
than they do towards pleasure, right?
100%.
So in your analogy of pain and pleasure, you've got to first show the customer or the person that the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change.
Okay. On that, I forgot one step. I'm gonna not defend myself, but
No, because I've seen you do it, so I know.
So let's say the consumer says, I've seen another VW Polo at XYZ dealership, and they are selling it for 10,000 Rand cheaper. Polo Vivo said, okay, great. What was the dealer's name? Okay, cool. While we're chatting on the phone, that's why I will literally drive back home to get these things.
AirPods.
I will never ever leave my house without
Those things are magic.
The team actually made a little bobblehead figure of me that I've got at my house,
your
and it's got
AirPods
an AirPod. Yes, only one though. I like the left one.
You know, they've turned the new AirPods into hearing aids.
Really?
Yeah. If you put them in, you can hear better than your own ears.
No way.
Yeah. The new version.
Jeez,
It's got medical grade hearing aid stuff in it.
Can they just implant one so I don't need to charge it?
Anyway, sorry.
So okay, you've seen it at XYZ customer. So are you currently driving now? Can you please put your phone on speaker? I would just like to send you some information. Screenshot of our reviews, screenshot of the other person's reviews. There's your pain. You fucking decide.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to show that person
You've got to.
You are literally buying from a dealership that people say, don't buy from this freaking dealership because they scam them. Here. But finesse it.
Pain of staying the same needs to be greater than the pain of change.
Got you.
And the moment you take the customer or the employee there, then you start painting them into what I call the negative future. Okay, so now I've stuck the pen in the wound and I've started to twist it. Now I'm going to wiggle it, and I'm going to show you that your current trajectory
It's going to lead you
is going to lead you to the disaster. Mm-hmm. Once you get that, now I'll paint the rosy picture for you.
This is my solution to your problem.
Yes.
So Mornay.official, when you start killing it in the industry that you're in, don't forget about us.
Comment.
So comment, and then maybe the new hearing aid AirPods, don't forget about us.
That's
We'd
been
really
epic.
appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you guys are addicted. I know you guys are addicted. I know I am. And see you in 2 weeks.
We've got a special thing coming in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes.
We're not going to say anything right
Yeah,
now.
but very special.
Very special.
Just get excited.
Yes.
More drugs coming your way.
Exactly.
The good ones. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.